Hello chums, Robert Ross here, comedy historian in Comedy Cottage. Hope you are fighting fit on this rather bleak and blustery Friday. But Friday is one thing, and that is one thing only. Friday is horror night. Oh yes, so Comedy Cottage will become Horror Cottage later on. And that brings me straight on to today's pick for Talking Pictures TV, which is at 10 p.m. It's a film that's probably been on Talking Pictures TV more times than I have, and that's quite a lot. But it's Michael Gough in a film called Horrors of the Black Museum, and it's a ghoulish treat. And Michael Gough's one of those forgotten heroes of horror, really. He did lots of really good British horror films, including obviously The Hammer, Dracula, but loads of other leading parts. One of my favourites, and a callback to the Robin Asquith, Matthew Sweet interview from Radio 3 the other day. One of my favourites of Michael Gough horror films is Horror Hospital, so I might dig that one out and watch that one later as well, in salute to Robin Asquith. So if you haven't heard the Asquith interview, please go onto BBC iPlayer and dig it out. It's an absolute treat. And more, Rob, please, more. I hear this morning that hopefully Rob's going to be back on tour in October this year, so fingers crossed I'll be there with him, hopefully, on tour as well at the regional theatres. But let's hope that he's back on the road, because you can't find a much more sort of charming and erudite and hilarious raconteur of film and telly and theatre as Robin Asquith. So follow him at all costs. Anyway, today really is a roll up, come buy my wares, really, because as we mentioned a few times on this channel and also on our book club nights, we have now a comedy historian shop. I have a merch table on my Comedy Historian Facebook page, so if you do fancy chucking us a few quid and getting something in return, we have a few things, only a few items from each of them. Now, we've got some here, some of my books from the dim and distant past. We've got a handful of the Marty Feldmans, which we did our last book club on Tuesday night, so there's only a few of those, maybe about sort of 8 or 9 of those, so jump in quick. The other ones, we've got literally just 1 or 2 copies, so if you fancy a bit of Benny Hill, Merry Master of Mirth, or 30 years of Last of the Summer Wine, we have 1 or 2 of those, and a couple of CDs too. I wrote a few Doctor Who plays for Big Finish Productions, one of which was one of our giveaways, wasn't it? The Peer Pressure, starring gorgeous Colin Baker as Doctor Who, alongside Roy Hudd as Max Miller. That was Peer Pressure, so we've got a few of those for sale on the Facebook page. And also, this is one-off. This is a thing called Laughing Stock, which I compiled back in, 15 years ago or so now, I should think. Now, 2002, how time flies. The best of classic British comedy. So you've got all sorts of gorgeous people like Sid James and Eric and Ernie and Benny Hill on there. So if you fancy that, nip over to the Facebook shop and make us an offer. Okay, and on that note, I think I will leave you with a track, not from this, but a gorgeous track from Pye Records from 1962. And this is Lonnie Donegan and Max Miller in a thing called The Market Song. As we're trying to sell things, why not? I've got my lovely original 45 here. Look at that. Oh my gosh. What a thing of beauty. Recording first published 1962. Anyway, I'm going to give this a quick spinette here. Bear with it. Just the year before Maxie died. Here we go. Max Miller. The pure gold.